Welcome to Floating Nifty Podcast. I'm Shiuwen.
And I'm John.
Hello, John.
Hi.
Before we proceed to our episode, just to follow up your comment on last episode where we did 4 black teas on the base of the tea, and you actually mentioned that you never thought about water structure.
Yeah.
Because I think in the episode I mentioned that some tea can actually make water structure like so bad.
Right.
That's incredible, right? So before we proceed to that, let's just drink a cup of hot water.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's that tea actually made the water seem like I would have rather just drank plain hot water than that.
But I would say most of the tea make water experience better.
Right, that would be the idea. That's the hope.
Pretty hot, though. Pretty hot.
All right.
Just filter water.
I think I can get. Yeah, I get a nice does have a nice kind of, I don't know, I think it has a structure.
There's a shape, right?
Yeah.
There's a shape, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a basic shape. And some people think water is boring because it doesn't have much of it doesn't have flavor, I guess. I guess it's water flavor, and tea makes it more flavorful. But when the tea destroy this structure, please do not drink it.
Right, yeah. Just drink water, hot water.
Okay, then let's get into today's episode. Yeah. It's about tea brewing, and we touch on tea brewing already. So far, this will be the 3rd section in our season 2 in tea brewing. First one, we use Secret Garden Alisan, and we talk about temperature, and see what you like or what other people like. People should try it at home. And second time, we use ratio, and we use our charcoal roasted dongding to talk about ratio. Some tea, I think you need just a touch more to get that boldness and the feeling to show up. And even if it's a light one, it's still very good. And this third one that I got escalade is the timing of tea brewing. So basically, a lot of tea drinkers are, more of, considering about temperature, the quantity of leaves, and the brewing time. I think these are the 3 most common asked questions that I have. And before we start to talk about the timing, the exact timing, at first I was very confused when people asked me those questions, because I remember when I first got into tea, I actually never, when it comes to tea brewing, I never ask people those questions. I don't know. Do you?
I did the very first time I walked into this shop 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you ask?
I was like, oh, well, how long do you guys brew these teas for? And you were like, or I was talking to Noah about it, and you were like, you guys are so nerdy about this. I remember it, that experience.
So nerdy? And then what else did we say?
Yeah, you were just like, no, we don't do that here.
We don't do that here.
No, okay. You said toss out your timer. You said throw it away.
I just went in with you and just said toss away the timer. I will do that in the end, why I don't use a timer. But let's talk about, like timing. And because I actually think about those things for other people, like why would people ask me how long to brew the tea? They want to make their tea taste good. Then why would people ask a question like this? And I think about my own experiences, like, then that's almost like a recipe. You put this much leaves in there, measure your temperature and the brewing time. That's a recipe. Do I use recipes for anything? I do, especially when it comes to baking.
Yeah.
Because I rarely bake.
Yeah.
I don't bake. If you are lucky, I bake once a year. So when I need to bake something, I use a recipe. And, the recipe will tell me this much stuff to put inside. And then, but it's that exact kind of They say this, but mix it until you look like that.
Yeah.
You know, there will be a more of like, well, you got to have experience that what does it mean by until like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then baking, you know, and I remember, like, for example, if I bake a cake, right, let's say I'm just making up, okay, to 350 degree and bake it for 20 minutes. But check, use a stick.
Yeah.
And then check that, right? Each oven is different. Like, I have a very crappy oven at home. Like, not so good.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I check, well, it's not ready. So, like, the recipe provider did say, check.
Yeah.
Even though the provider say 20 minutes. Tea is the same thing. You got to check it also. So what is the reference of checking? Your taste capacity. Also, I also think about those questions a lot. Why would people ask me those questions? People don't like to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So why don't people like to make mistakes? There's a little bit fear involved. Okay? And so today let's do a little bit experiment in the brewing time.
Okay.
And so I want you to time me. Okay?
Okay.
Just to later then give people reference, the audience, if they want to also follow this one up, then they have a little bit reference. Because I'm going to use your experience to engage with my brewing.
Okay.
Like how is my, and because I'm going to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Certain ways.
Okay.
Okay. So for people to be able to follow, we are going to use our Taiwan Ruby 18 black tea as a tea today. And I did measure out 6 grams. And I'm going to use boiling hot water. And I'm going to do a little bit experiment.
Okay. Do you want me to time the length of your brew, or are we going to specify an amount of time?
I want you to later call out my length of brewing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to warm up the brewing utensil. And I today then for people to do this following, I just use a gaiwan because a lot of people have gaiwan at home. And this one, is that 100 millimeters? 120?
Somewhere between 100 and 120.
Why is 120? That's big, man.
I think it's more like 100. I don't know.
Well, the thing is they measure to the top and then...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 grams of tea though. So...
It's a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
I guess I'll hide this from you so you can't see. So
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not influenced by it.
No problem. So, are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, go ahead.
"20 seconds."
Excellent.
Yeah.
20 seconds of brew on Ruby 18. Really nice.
Yeah, I think I can get a little bit of the structure in the scent.
Some not too strong, maybe.
Yeah, it's not quite as, to compare it to the last episode, it's not nearly the same as when we were smelling it like after 15 minutes of steeping it.
Yeah.
But it's there. It maybe again, like I'm getting a little bit of the structure in the mouth, but it's again like not quite as clear yet.
But
as,
is it
as the previous round we did?
Sure. Is it pleasant?
Yeah. Like the flavor's already
It's there. It's kind of smooth.
Yeah.
I would say it's kind of vague.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it already tastes really nice, for sure.
It tastes really nice. Can you notice movement in this cup of tea?
I'm not sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I need to take that question into the next brew.
Perfect. You are not sure. That's very good.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
That's very good.
So can I get, based on the last session we did with this I'll pay attention to see if I can get any movement in the mouth on this round.
Yeah. Use whatever base reference you have.
Okay.
Like right now, your experience is you are not sure if it is moving. And that's a very honest answer.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't need to try to like, should I say it's moving? You know? And then so I want you to time the next one.
Okay. I will say that was the one, this is the tea last time that I did ask, like, do you feel like this is moving a little bit? So we'll see.
Yeah. But let's not even talk about moving. Let's see if it, even just use the base. Where are you feeling in your mouth?
Okay.
You know, like this cup, where are you feeling in your mouth? Not this one, last one. You can still, there's still presence. Where are you feeling it?
Probably, yeah, maybe on the back of the tongue.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm getting under, maybe on the roof a little bit.
But is it on the side at all?
I don't think so.
Good. So just keep it that way. It's more on the tongue, kind of a T.
Yeah.
You know? And then this next one, I'm going to breathe for a long time.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that.
A long time until it's, hopefully it's uncomfortable.
Oh, great.
Or hopefully I can break the structure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. For you to see what the broken point of this T can feel like. Yeah. And I think this T does have a breaking point.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're thinking of a broken structure, like, is it in the mouth that you notice it?
Sometimes it can be in the smell too, but in the mouth it will be more. It will be more obvious because in the nose, then I don't know how much you can smell the bitterness. I think you can smell almost astringency. Yeah, but in the mouth, since you are actually touching the liquid, the shape will be a little bit more obvious.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you actually timing me?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent,
Yep.
excellent.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good one.
Maybe we can pull this one out now, huh? I just let it go
Yeah,
longer.
push it a little longer and see what happens.
Why not? I'm gonna do my first hashtag. No fear.
Yeah, there you go.
And how long is this?
That was 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Very good. This is a long brew of this color.
Yeah, that is deep color. That is it. It's almost opaque.
Whoa, very deep.
Yeah, deep color.
Let's see.
All right,
this
let's
one.
see. Woo!
Strong.
Strong, yeah.
Okay. And can you taste it's bitter?
Yeah, it's definitely
Yes.
bitter. It's got the kind of soft astringency.
Yeah.
But it's not overpowering. And I think I am getting it actually a little
the
bit
side now?
further on the side, yeah.
And actually, can you feel it underneath the tongue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Good. What's the point of this brew? Is it pleasant?
Yeah, I think it's it's still pleasant, but it's strong.
But like, I would like to drink this tea this way all the time.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not, right? Because it's like, the bitterness is still kind of there.
Yeah,
this
it's a
tea
lot.
has enough base. It's not like those teas last session. We have to I have to blink my small eyes.
Yeah.
But this, because you push it, you get to see where the tea can possibly move. But
Okay.
to me, it's not pleasant.
Yeah.
So remember, I say tea brewing have to be satisfying. For me, personally, I don't call this satisfying
Yeah.
because it's a strong cup of tea without good enough structure. It has structure, but it's unpleasant.
Okay.
And if you remember our dongding
Yeah.
session, I try to jam more leaves in there. The tea is strong, and there's a huge, big body, juicy, that is satisfying.
Right.
This one, I'm not sure if I can call it juicy with this 2-minute brew. But why do I need to see this? Well, people want a good cup of tea, right? Then what is a good cup of tea? What is the first cup of tea? The previous brew, I on purpose underbrew it. So in exchange, it feels very vague, but pleasant and safe.
Right.
Satisfying?
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
It certainly didn't leave as much of an impression as this one
one
did.
leave impression, right?
Yeah.
Can be kind of on the verge of getting unpleasant. So I'm a tea drinker. I also own a business, and I'm a tea student. I'm a tea buyer. I can look at each given tea from one point of view. I need to see them from different angles, including underbrew, including overbrew it. Because I need to see where the tea can go. Because sometimes the best teas, since they have high capacity, they will show up only when you push it.
Right.
And some of this kind of teas, when you push it, the discomfort start to show up.
Yeah.
And you need to know your tea too. You know what you're paying for.
Right.
But you also see there's enough foundation. When the discomfort show up, there's actually a little bit movement start to be pulled out. But when today, if I push my good charcoal roasted dongding, it's gonna be a very different movement. The movement will be bigger and juicier. But if I never push my dongding that way, I will never know my dongding is that way.
Right.
So let's come back to the timing. So now we have 20 seconds and 2 minutes and whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of vague and a little bit uncomfortable now.
Right.
So I just need to find
Somewhere
a
in the
middle point.
middle.
Yeah, you have a big time, man. You have a big time to do it in the middle now to I think make this tea even better and better than number 1 brew and number 2 brew, and let's prove it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did like, at least on the second brew, that
Yes, more mobility.
yeah,
right?
that there was just a lot more. So even though it was bitter and a lot, it really stuck with me, and it did, since I'm so focused on the mouth in these last few sessions, it was cool because there was more in the mouth to see on the second one. So yeah, I'll take the bitterness if it means that I can see more clearly what's going on in the mouth.
So a lot of people don't want to push their tea because they are afraid of the discomfort. So what in exchange, then they are brewing my first cup of brewing safe.
Yeah.
It's a very safe cup of tea, and I would call it enjoyable, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't like my tea to be only enjoyable. Sometimes I like my tea to be enjoyable. Remember session 1, our tea brewing, cold brew, high mountain oolong tea?
Yeah.
Dang, that's as
That was
enjoyable
nice.
as possible, man.
Yeah.
Does it have movement? None. I don't remember, but probably not much because it's a cold brew tea. But in a hot summer day, that you can't pay too much attention,
Yeah.
and you're paying attention to your son or your friends,
Yeah, you just want that.
perfect.
Yeah.
But when you are doing tea practice, that's a little bit unsatisfying, when the tea cannot move. So let's heat this one up and rinse the cup. And so now I have a lot of room to play with this tea.
Yeah.
I have about...
You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes difference there.
So is tea
All right.
brewing that difficult?
Let me get do you want me to time this one again?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not? Okay,
See
go.
what happens.
Yeah.
I will say that the bitterness, like at least in the aftertaste of the last one, really mellowed out, and it got kind of nice and sweet after a while. So
that's a
that
little
was
bit
good.
Follow up. That's good.
Yeah.
Aftertaste is important to complete a tea. And people can easily try this at home.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be this tea. And if you want to try this tea just to do exactly the same thing, go ahead and follow it. And if you have other teas, then you try it in a different timing. So
that was 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Talking a bit too much.
You hit it right in the middle, though.
I actually tried to pull out maybe around 50 seconds. Yeah. I didn't count it, but my brain.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I was talking.
You must also have an added pressure of knowing that you're being timed.
还好啦. I'm speaking Chinese with you now. Your next job is to learn Chinese.
Oh boy.
Oh, so smell the scent. What do you notice the difference between 1, 2, and I'll call this the number 3 trying?
Yeah, it's definitely getting more into the nose. Like it's showing that structure already, like it did in the previous session when we did
the shape is
style.
Rounder. That's more. Let me put it this way: more shape than the under brew, 20-second brew. More stuff showing up, more clarity.
Yeah.
And compared to the 2-minute-ish brew, less dry.
In the smell?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Interesting. I don't know if I'm on that yet.
No problem. So taste it.
Yeah, I'm already getting under the tongue.
Puffier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely puffs, for sure.
Puffier than 1, and puffier. Actually, puffier than
It's puffier than both.
2. Yeah, because 2 is just it's so strong. It's actually grabbing, and this one is just
Right.
puff.
Yeah, totally. Wow. So it's all of the stuff that I appreciated that I was able to see in that second cup that was really, really strong in the last one. It's showing up in this one, but it's not so, I guess grabbing is the best word of it's not so in your face, this is more it's clear, it's there, it's focused, and it's pleasant.
You can sense everything, right?
Yeah,
pretty
I got
much
all the same,
from
yeah.
the number 2 strong brewing, and so you need to know this tea have those in an uncomfortable way, and then but your job is not to, as a tea brewer, is to make it uncomfortable. You want your tea to be not big in a heavy way, but as big in a capacity as possible, and a tea brewer can make that happen. But if we just want it to be safe and never want to make mistakes, we will never see this. Just go back to some of your learnings that you first to learn something. Do you make mistakes?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it a bad thing?
No. Might feel like it though at the time.
It's uncomfortable. I
Right,
mean,
right.
humans don't like to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't like to make mistakes. I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
I don't like my tea to taste that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, today is the experiment. I make that happen. Wait until I make that happen by accident. I brew tea for somebody. I feel really bad.
Yeah.
But from that, I learned something about my brewing and myself and the tea. Then my goal is then I can make this tea taste better. Every single time, I want to make this tea taste better. And so one more time, hashtag no fear. And then what is the other hashtag, Noah?
Hashtag make mistakes.
Yeah, make mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then learn from the failure.
It's called
Right.
invest in failing.
there
Hashtag
you go.
invest in failing. That can be the most unpleasant experience in tea brewing, but if you never fail, which is by making mistakes, by the way, you will never know how to actually brew one tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people will tell you how to brew it. Actually, the tea bag that we did last time, it said 3 to 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, one tea bag says 3 to 5 minutes. Go ahead, man. 3 to 5 minutes.
That was not. I couldn't even do 1 minute of that one.
No need
I
to
missed
time
the timer
this.
that
Yeah,
time.
no need to time this. I think we got the point, right?
Right.
And so with this, then, sure. I think timer, you want, since you are new to something, you seriously feel so uncomfortable, then use a little bit timer to help. But when you first came in here, I said don't use timer. When I brew tea, I don't use timer. When I'm doing tea tasting evaluation, like the last round, I use a timer just to be fair, man.
Yeah, that's fair the teas.
But when
yeah.
I'm like learning to brew tea, I don't use timer. And I'll mention this. Why don't I use timer? When you set the timer, you disconnect
Yeah.
from the tea. That's it. And next time, and then if people feel like, what? When you brew tea, use a timer and see how you feel. And when you brew tea, don't use the timer and watch that discomfort. But I will say, look at your tea then. Don't look at the timer and see what's the difference. Just see what's the difference.
Right.
And taste what's the difference in the tea. I think the answer will be pretty obvious.
Because you could just set a timer and then go do something else.
That's right.
And then come back and stop it. And then, so yeah, it's like if you were to say, oh yeah, brew this tea for 1 minute. Someone goes home and they just brew it for 1 minute. They're never like paying attention to the tea. They're just
That's
like,
right.
oh yeah, Shiuwen said 1 minute, so I'll do 1
Yeah.
minute, every time. Which, that wouldn't work. And then you'd never know. What if you brewed it for 5 minutes? You never know until you try it.
Yeah, and so the question is then some people would argue but if I don't know this minute or that minute, how do I know if I brew my tea well? One more time, taste it,
Right.
and then engage with what? At first, I would say engage with how your leaves is opening up. There will be one kind of a reference. Watch your tea leaves. Watch what you are brewing. Watch the shape. Watch the color. Second, really watch the color. That's why we show the color of underbrew and overbrew color. Try to locate a color. And when you do this with Guy One, you will have you can really look at the color in the beginning. Then when you feel familiar with, you use a teapot and you'll be okay not to look at the color because the teapot is harder to look at the color.
Yeah.
So try this second cup to see if you can feel still the mobility is there. I would say probably the brew is also roughly about a minute.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling it getting up into my nose here. Like it's.
And there's a shape, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, there's definitely a shape to the smell. Oh yeah, I can kind of feel it definitely puffing, moving all over, like in my mouth and kind of expanding.
Yeah, and then you mentioned it's also underneath your tongue. And when you start to pay a small, like detailed attentions like this, you should notice small things. You will notice this under the tongue, and then you will, Secret Garden Alisan underneath the tongue are two different feelings.
Wow.
It's two different under the tongue.
Interesting.
Throat the same. How they move into the throat is different things.
Wow.
But I don't think that throat is super strong, right?
Yeah.
This one is only the point that is kind of pushing into the throat, and then afterwards it disappear. Yeah, it's not a big throaty
I get
tea.
that. Yeah, I get
right?
that.
It's just like, oh, got it.
Right.
About maybe not there anymore, but I don't think it's like holy.
Right, it stays there like a ball in your throat.
Yeah.
Cool.
So when you start to pay more attention to different details of a tea, then tea become very interesting.
That's so interesting. Yeah, like I feel like I'm still at a point where all I can do right now is notice like whether it's under the tongue or not.
Problem.
You know, 'cause I've only just learned this the other week, so I'm like excited to get to the point where I can notice the differences under the tongue.
Yeah. That's the beginning. As long as you can notice something, that's the beginning of noticing more.
Right.
When you cannot notice anything, then there's zero. You know. you say you have something to share with us with your Dongding traditional experience?
Well, it kind of reminds me of this because, like, now that I kind of have had these lessons and I feel like I'm seeing the tea kind of in a new way, I returned to the Dongding traditional A this last week, which is kind of my main tea.
Excellent.
And I was shocked that it felt like I was looking at a new tea. And it was sort of like I felt I was excited, but I was also kind of like humbled by it because I was like, man, this is the tea that I'm supposed to know, right? Because I drink it so much. Like, I drink this tea almost every day, and I've been doing that for like 3 years. And so I sat down with it last week, and I was just like, wow, there's so much stuff that I had never even seen before. Like what we were talking about with the throat. You were describing that ball. It stays in the throat like a ball. I was getting that last week for the first time ever, as well as the sort of the puffiness of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You are excellent student.
It just was. It was really like it was kind of an ego thing though, where I was like, man, I thought I knew this tea. I thought I could taste this tea blind and be like, oh yeah, that's the Dongding A. But last week I saw so many new things that I was just like, I don't know this tea.
You just made my day. It just made my day. I don't know how many times I tell people not to drink too many different teas and just like, sure, if you say, well, I will get bored, but that really single out one tea and then get to it each day. And don't make it go stale. Not the tea go stale. Your practice go stale. Try to look at it and keep asking questions. Do I really know this tea?
Right.
You know, do I really know this tea?
And I would say one of the days last week, I didn't get that sort of back of the throat thing we were talking about last week, but then later on in the week I did. And so it's those kinds of, and I don't really know why. I think I kind of used a similar amount of tea and all that was kind of similar. So I'm not sure why, but just to be able to notice those different characteristics in it for the first time was kind of surprising. It was shocking and exciting, but yeah, it was like, wow, I thought I knew this tea, but I don't.
And then each day you kind of have a similar and yet different experience, right? With Dongding A, am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why tea is alive.
Yeah.
And so one more time, let me try to get back to the recipes. Ratio, timer, and temperature. Try to make it alive too. I mean, whether it's changing every single day, your tea is not gonna taste the same.
Yeah.
Your move is not the same.
Right.
Everything is not the same. And sure, like some people say, then what do I follow then? You just say everything is different. I don't have anything to follow. Yes, you do. Your taste buds is a wonderful point for you to follow because you're gonna see the tea. You're gonna taste the tea and say, wow, today I actually did really good. There's something about the tea I did really good. I would like to recreate it tomorrow in a satisfying way, but to be exactly the same. And the next day you can time yourself and try to duplicate the process exactly the same. And you tell me if the experience is the same.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at in a tea? It's get to the core of the tea and keep pouring it out and make it happen. Okay, that's the philosophical lesson of the day. Thank you for sharing your experience.
Yeah.
That was so wonderful. That's really what I want for people to explore and come back and tell me, like, sure, you can say my Dongding traditional A, you can say any of the teas or any of the teas that you are drinking, say, I just rediscovered this tea. I just rediscovered this tea. Or even sometimes not rediscovered. Do you know sometimes what I see in my teas? It's changing.
The tea itself is changing.
The tea itself is changing. I say, wow, that's new. That's new. I know the tea, but it's new. Something is changing in a better direction.
Cool.
And when it's changing in the direction that I don't like, I just wait for it. Have faith in the tea. It's gonna turn around again. Yes, that's
Cool.
it. yesterday I said something really funny that I thought that's really good. And see if we want to put it in there. A customer called me and said, I'm very disappointed in your Secret Garden artisan. I said, oh, why? He said, it changed too much. And I said, well, you need to talk to Buddha about this subject. And he laughed too. So let's finish this cup of tea and see.
Funny.
Can you smell the texture now?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm there yet. I can certainly get it in my nose. Like, I'm getting it in my nose. I'm seeing that it's getting in there. I'm going to need to keep thinking about this scent texture thing,
No
though.
problem. No problem. Take it easy. I'm going to work with you a couple of episodes on just the scent. It's actually really important. But I work with people in the texture before the scent is because it's in a way it's more obvious. It's more obvious because you can taste and you can feel, and this is just scent. It's almost like for people it's like, well, that's empty,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you have nothing to grab on. But this actually one of the most fundamental things about tea is actually on the scent. Yeah, so
Cool.
we'll work on that. Don't worry. Just hold your horses.
Yeah, I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
Yeah, so I think before we close up, I just want to tell people I still don't like to teach people how to exactly brew a tea. Perfection shows up when you play with it, and perfection is always changing. And by fixing it, I am not sure that form of perfection is it a true perfection. And seriously, when it comes to learning, we need to fail, and we need to make mistakes to be able to let the glory show up. And glory doesn't need to show up every day. It's not we're taking ecstasy every day. Like my tea experience is always ecstasy. Is it really good that every day your tea experience is always that high? I'm not sure. I think from all sorts of environments, then we are able to see once again the core of a tea. Either is not comfortable or beautiful or even sad and ugly. We need to see them all. So no fear. You cannot bring fear to the table when you brew a tea, or bring like I want this tea not to taste the other way or this way. Do have a goal. I want this tea to be satisfying. Eventually, and someday it's not satisfying, it's still okay. Then next day make it satisfying.
Yeah.
And see more, taste more, see more, brew more.
Yeah, this is interesting because I feel like I have those fears when I brew for people. They come out a lot worse, where I'm like, well, I really hope this person is going to like my tea that I brew. Like, I really hope it's not too strong. I really hope it's not, too weak or something. And when I take that to the table, it always fails me because because it means I can't relax about the tea and just let it happen.
Yeah.
And I tend to find that, like, if I do a second tea after the first, it's better because I'm able to relax more and get the first one out of the way. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. The fear thing.
Have fun trying at home.
Yeah.
And to the audience, have fun trying at home. Tea brewing is really fun.
It is, yeah.
Cool. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.